journal entry. Oh, what day was it? Friday. It's now Sabbath. Friday, the 16th. 1 plus 6 is 7. Friday, January 16th, 2026. So I got up very early. I had a shower and put some clean clothes on. No, they don't. They don't look. They don't look nice. Like, I've got my free colon cancer awareness shirt on. They were giving these out. I do not agree with this message. I don't agree with the cancer agenda and the treatments. But this was free at the fair. So, because of that, I'm wearing it, and it's clean now. So anyways, this is just a cheap t-shirt and a fuzzy jacket, but it is clean. So, I've got my nice hat on. So as long as you're clean, then it's good enough. And have your clothes on. So they had free dog food. The city I live in, there are just churches on every block. This is a small town, or it is a city actually. There's about 35,000 people that live here. There are 152 churches here. That is a lot. And if you take the 1, and then the 5 and 2 is a 7, that could be a 17. You know, you got to manipulate it a little, but it's still like 1, and then the 5 plus 2 is a 7. You could do that. Maybe that's not significant. I don't know. Maybe it is. They had free dog food today. And they tell us about these things at the soup kitchen. I would have no idea otherwise. I guess it's probably on the radio and TV, and I don't, listen to any of those things. So I didn't know what was going to happen. I just headed out on my bike to the address, and then waited in a long line of cars. There's just a bunch of cars with their trunks open or their doors open, and I was on a bicycle. And then I wait through the line, get up there, and then they had 35-pound bags of dog food. And then I had them put one on my handlebars, and I said, well, how many can I get? How many dogs? I could get 3 because I have 3 dogs. That would have been a lot of dog food. And then I had them put another one on. Oh, I said, put the second one on here and see how many I can get. And then there was a woman there that says, it's not safe. And so she said, take this and come right back. And so basically I went the wrong way and I went way out of my way. I went an extra mile getting back home because I turned the wrong way. But anyways, I biked home with a 35-pound bag of dog food on these bike handlebars of this bike, which has had some repairs to the brake lines, and you have to be careful with it. But I made it. God protected me. And I was going up the hill. I am sick today. I'm tired. But I got up. I made it there. I was the only bicycle in the line. Everyone else had vehicles. And I got it, brought it home, and then I grabbed my backpack, my huge backpack, and I went right back like the woman said. And they were still there. They were about to leave. And so this actually helped me out a lot. And then I had my backpack, and I'm like, oh, put a couple in here. I said, I already got one. Put a couple in this backpack. And then I could have biked home with them in the backpack. But I didn't necessarily want to do that. I didn't really want to do. The woman was like, oh, and she admired my determination. She didn't see anyone else doing that. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. Just every day, I'm sick, I'm tired, there are also other things going on that are making me more tired, and then I still go out, and I still go and get the dog food, and I was about to take 70 pounds of dog food back on my back. I even put one on the handlebar too, but I didn't have to. There was a nice woman there, and she said, I'll just take it to your house. What's your address? I'm like, oh, thank you. And I told her my address, and I bike too, so I was only 30 seconds after she got to my house. Because, it's only 25 mile per hour and there's lights and things. So She showed up first, but it didn't take much longer for me to get there. And I also left a little bit before her. It's like a mile away. And so this was nice because actually I was quite tired. Now that I'm sick and other things are going on, I just like it was harder to go up the hill and I was more out of breath. And I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna give up, but it was just harder to pedal than normal, than it should be, because these witches keep casting spells on me or hacking like into the food that they bring to the potlucks or something to make sure that I get sick. Um, and so the woman, like, when I got to my house, she had just stopped across the street and had carried the dog food onto and sat it on my porch and then was back at the car and I was there. I'm like, oh, thank you. I said, God bless you. She did not say God bless you back. I'm just going to say. She's like, oh, and she was really surprised the way she saw, like, and she's like, high five. And the way she saw me get that dog food and come right back, she really was happy with my determination and she offered me a job. She offered me a job like she did, like, demo or construction or something. And I had my notepad and she wrote her number down. But then when I told her what I did, I do sales, then she seemed a little disappointed. So I think she saw I would be a very good worker. And she would love to see somebody work like that she would hire, because most people don't try very hard. I have seen this. It is the end of the age. Most people eat pork. Pork spirits are lazy spirits, unhealthy spirits of disease, infirmity, procrastination. I procrastinate sometimes. Not now, but the thing is, even though I will procrastinate, like, I don't have time, like, I don't have time to do anything else other than what's going on. Like, here's something today, here's something tomorrow, just all day long, and then I make the video, and I maybe play guitar a little bit, play with my dogs, and it's bedtime. Like, I don't even have time to do anything else. So I'm not really procrastinating because I have to get up. I have to go to the soup kitchen. I have to like go different places. There are missions going on at all of these places. And now there's things going on in between breakfast or lunch and dinner, and that's only a few hours. And there's things going on after that. And then I have to bike to everything. And then there's churches I have to go to in every church event. And there's tons of church events here. There's a church on every block. Every free meal, every event. I gotta go to all of it. And so there always happens to be things, like even though tomorrow is Sabbath, tomorrow is Saturday, I get invited to things. And so that means it's a mission. Like, I get invited to something, then I gotta go. And no matter how tired I am, I don't really want to go, I do it anyways. I do it anyways. And that, as I said, God will be a warrior for you. And when I get invited to things, it's like almost in a video game. I know it's not just some random thing. It's like, here's the key, you gotta do it. So I gotta do it. But anyways, that was nice. I did bike back with the 35-pound dog food on my bike handlebars. And it didn't fall off. And I was tired already, like, because I had to go uphill to get there, and I was already under the weather. So I didn't go super fast. The sidewalks were all covered in snow. I had to bike in the road. It's not safe. God protects me, but, like, cars, sometimes they are real close, like, zipping past. They're not happy I'm on the road. But most don't really honk when they see there's snow all over the sidewalks. They can understand that. And sometimes I think people honk so that I don't, like, just veer and then they end up hitting me. I can understand that. You can normally tell the difference. Some people, they honk, like, to let you know they're coming. But most of the time, it's other reasons. Most of the time, it's to be rude. But sometimes people, like, give you a warning, like, I'm coming. And those people don't get karma. It's depending the reason they do it. Are they trying to not hit me? That's good. Or are they mad that I'm on the road and they're trying to say, get off the road, why are you on the road? It's not just me. Like, here's the thing, I don't want to be on the road, but they don't shovel the sidewalks, and they are bumpy, and they are slippery, and the wheels, the tires on this bike are kind of bald, and also the seat, if you put too much pressure on it, will still move, because the nut I had to tighten is also broken. So I had to pull it, I had to torque it really hard to get it as tight as I did. But it's also broken, so it won't tighten as well. There's a lot of things that were wrong with the bike. I managed to get it to work properly, but like going on a bumpy sidewalk, then it can mess up the seat. Then you gotta fix it, and I would just rather, I would rather go on the road. I don't want to go on the road, but this bike can't handle it. It acts like it's gonna fall over on this type of snow and ice. So, anyways, the woman dropped off the dog food, and she offered me a job. And when she realized I do sales, I think she was a little disappointed, because she wanted somebody with my work ethic, which is rare, I guess. Because my whole life, like, everybody could do this. Why doesn't everybody just... But they don't. Maybe nobody. I don't know. Nobody. She wanted somebody with a good work ethic. But she could have also been an enemy. Because the Kingdom of Darkness... But she seemed like she was nice. That's the thing. I thought she was a good woman. But I'm not allowed to work for anyone. Because I work for God. I work for God. I'm not allowed to work for another human. That's why I can sell, but I'm not allowed to work for someone else. It has to be something I can walk away from and leave behind at any time, so that I can do more important things. Like, my energy is supposed to go into things for the kingdom, and it is not for a company or a business or something. Even though these are useful and they're important, that's just not what I'm supposed to do. Apparently, I'm just supposed to bike 10 miles a day back and forth in the snow, to one church, to another thing, for people to cast spells on me. And yeah, I don't know. It's not really fun, but I'm having experiences and learning things, and I don't know. There's people that they're kind of acting nice. They're probably more fake friends. I know they have spirits. I thought they were witches, but they're not all bad. So I think they were tricking me. I knew what was going on. I knew that they were cursing me and stuff, but they're also talking to me. And then they were coming to sit with me. And it's probably like they're trying to get me. But I don't know. Maybe, I don't even know. Maybe they actually do want to be friends too. This is the thing. I just assume they don't, because they are working for the other side. But maybe they actually... I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. But anything is possible. This also is possible. Anyways, let's see. The amount of dog food. I was supposed to get 3 bags. I ended up getting 4.5 bags. So the woman, she dropped off 3 whole other bags, because I already had one. So now I had 4. I was only supposed to get 3. And then one half-size one that was 15 pounds. So, I got 150 pounds of free dog food, and yes, it is Sabbath now. And so, of course, witchcraft, everything horrible. I haven't always been checking my email, and I did not want another order to ship when I'm in debt, and I just got all this dog food. So, of course, once it's Sabbath, I get an email, and it says, your repeat dog food delivery is being prepared. So I went in, even though it's Sabbath, and I canceled it. I skipped the delivery. So I was not buying or selling, but I skipped the delivery. I had time to do it later, but I haven't been checking my emails all the time, so I didn't want to miss it. I didn't want to be sitting there thinking about it either. I mean, I guess you could say this is breaking the Sabbath, but I do not break the Sabbath. This is something, like, I don't really think it is. It's kind of like an enemy attack or something, that all of this time, I didn't get the message the repeat order was being prepared. Like, it's not ready yet, but if you don't cancel it within a few days, then they go ahead and ship it and charge you. So, of course, this happens on Sabbath. So, I just skipped it during Sabbath. I clicked a few buttons on my computer and skipped it. I don't know whether this is breaking Sabbath or not, but I'm not 100% sure it is. And I just went ahead and did it. And because if this is some type of witchcraft attack, then I'm just going to take care of it, because I did not want to have the stress of possibly not checking my emails and forgetting about this, and then I get charged and I've got way too much dog food. So I canceled it during Sabbath. I don't feel that I sinned, but I am not sure if I did the right thing or not. But Sabbath was made for us and not the other way around. So if the Kingdom of Darkness is using some witchcraft spell so that I get sent this notification on Sabbath, then I'm just going to cancel it. Um, I don't know what to say. I normally don't do this, but I have been more and more lax with my emails and not even checking them, so um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is, but I would be thinking about it and wasting more of my time if I didn't just skip it. Then it would bother me. So maybe I did the right thing, I don't know. What the heck am I even talking about? So that free dog food giveaway was at 10 in the morning. So I had to get up earlier. I had to get up early, take a shower, get clean. It's 20 degrees or something, like, in the, being wet, and bike, and get this dog food. I didn't know what kind of dog food. Of course, it's 35-pound bags. And that's really nice, actually. The bag said, like, I think PetSmart donation food or charities. So I don't know what brand it is, but it's, like, all bagged up, just like when you would pay for it. But it says charities on it, so it says not for sale. It says for donation. So God bless him. I don't know if it's Petco or PetSmart. I think it's PetSmart. But I'm going to make, I have a video I recorded on my camera that I'll upload later. Let's see. I have not seen the serial killer in a couple days now. I didn't see him in a while, so I don't know if the police got him. I really don't know. I don't want to count, like, my chickens before they hatch, but the police might have gotten him. I don't, just because I haven't seen him. He's been going to the soup kitchen. He was going to the soup kitchen, and then I have not seen him in a couple days. So, he possibly was trying to follow me on the bike trail. I think I saw, I was on the bike trail. Cars cannot go on the bike trail, but there are points where the bike trail meets a normal road. And these areas is where police came and arrested people. So there was a vehicle at the end of the bike trail going this way, and I saw a cop car up there, and it stopped somebody. And then as I was leaving to go onto the major road by the church where this music class was, the police came and got like 2 more cars right there. This is not a coincidence. They knew, they were tracking me, they knew where I was, and I was on the bike trail. So they were actually coming to all of, wow, this is nuts. It's not just a serial killer. Like the Kingdom of Darkness, the witches and warlocks, their lower level people couldn't stop me. So they were bringing in more dangerous criminals, and they brought in the serial killer, and they brought in the gangs. And they were at the entrances and exits of the bike path waiting for me. So they were probably going to have their people at each one. So every exit would have somebody waiting to kill me. This doesn't sound good when you think about it. But anyways, I think they were all gone. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think they got him. I think they did. But, I'm not sure. Maybe he'll show up maybe he'll be at the soup kitchen next week, and then I have no idea who they got then. I really don't. But he actually, he said, "Do you want to go to this park?" After we went to they said, "Oh, there's dinner at the Salvation Army." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I want to go to this. I want to eat their free dinner." I didn't know they had that. Show up, and there's a sign. It says, "Oh, there's no Sunday dinner there for a couple weeks. No Sunday dinner there for a couple weeks." And so then he had his bag of food ready. And if he had cooked it, the rules. And I tried to tell him, don't bring that. I'm not eating that. I want to eat at Salvation Army. I kept telling him. He knew it was closed. So anyways, I'm like, I'm not eating that. I said, I'm not allowed to eat any food from anyone else. And let's see here. So I haven't seen him, but anyways, we went on a bike trail in the snow, and it was similar. It was on the other side of town. So he was familiar with bike trails. And this is probably one way he catches people. And there are big bodies of water, lakes, and rivers where he could possibly be dumping his victims. There was a big lake right next to this, so we went up the hill to a covered area with benches where you could also grill and prepare food. Um, Now, nobody is killing me. Go ahead and try it. That means that you will die, not me. God will not allow it, but it's like I am smart and I'm somewhat fit, but like that doesn't have anything to do with the outcome. It doesn't. Like I think I'm smart. I think I'm somewhat tough. That doesn't matter at all. It really doesn't. They are sending all types of people after me. They probably have already killed. That are strong. This doesn't have anything to do with it. It's because God. Um, so God's not going to allow. And also, we're given spiritual authority, so the Holy Spirit fills us. So that's what I'm saying. You have the Holy Spirit, then you're protected, and you can always just exorcise these demons too. Now, you don't want to put yourself in a dumb situation, but this was another mission from God, because I was veiled at first, so I could go through it and learn the way they operate and all the tricks and things they do, how they get people to trust them, and how my bike tire was popped, and how, here was the replacement, and here's the rules, and here's how it works. And I'm looking, and I saw everything he did, how he lives, how he gets away with it, how he eats, and how they go to the homeless shelter to take a bath, and then they get new clothes there. They look like, they don't look like they're homeless, because they can just go take a shower and get brand new clothes at the homeless shelter. And then they leave and they just look like they have their own place. Or say, here's my house, this is where I live. Oh, the house you're squatting in that you don't actually own. And they have plenty of food, because the grocery stores just throw their expired food into the garbage. Well, it's not even expired, it just reached the sell-by date. So it's not even bad yet, but it's reached the sell-by date. They throw it in the dumpster, and then they go, I know all of this stuff. So anyways, what? I haven't seen him in a while. What am I even talking about? Shoot, man. So that woman, she admired my work ethic. Like, she'd never seen anything like that before. And she was like, oh yeah, high five. But then at the same time, maybe she had, I don't know. Just, she was real happy to see me try so hard that she drove to my house and then dropped 4 more bags of dog food off. And then she was like, write the number down, like, that she wanted to pay me to work for her to, like, demo houses. And, I'm not allowed to work for someone else, but, the stuff I do is not paid. I just go and do stuff and it's free. But, like, I could help somebody for free, but I'm not allowed to work under someone. I think that's it. Excuse me. Yeah, those witches made me sick. Again, I'm always sick. I'm about to not be sick anymore, because I'm going to get karma. My karma is I'm never sick again. I have great health the rest of my life, and everything's clean. Let's see what is on this. Okay, so I got back home, and then I got my camera, like my vintage camera that can record videos on it. And I just took some pictures and recorded the dog food. Just to still remember. I'm going to upload it and see how much food I got. And then my feet, like my socks and stuff, were wet just because of snow and biking. So I wanted to change them, and I wanted to sit down a little bit. And so I ended up leaving about the time that I should have been at the soup kitchen. So I got there about 10 minutes late today. And I'm normally not late. I was a couple minutes late when I first started to go, but then I tried to be there right on time. And actually today I was like 10 minutes late. maybe even a little more than 10 minutes late. But that's not really late. That's just when they start serving food, but then you miss the sermon. But anyway, I was there. I was there. I mean, I didn't miss it. I just wasn't early. I was kind of tired, and, I just took my time and I sat down for a bit after getting that dog food. I biked like 3 miles already with this dog food and talking to someone, and then my feet, got kind of wet, and, I just wanted to sit down a minute and not leave right away. So I don't think that's canceling my mission. I was just 15 minutes later than I should have been. But maybe I'm making these rules up. Like, maybe I don't need to be at the soup kitchen, like, as soon as it opens. Because they continue serving lunch for a while, so I don't know. But, the lunch, I don't know if this was witchcraft today. It could have been witchcraft. The lunch today was not that great. Normally it's really good. But, there was a pasta. There was like pasta with like cheese and stuff in it. It tasted really good, but then there was pepperoni in it. And I couldn't tell at first, so I had to take it out, and then I ate the rest. But it still I might have still polluted the whole thing, and so that's what I mean. Like, I didn't know it just looked like noodles with cheese and like some peppers in it. I did not see pepperoni, and they put it on my plate, and then, when I was sitting down at the table, I saw, and I took the pepperonis out, and then I ate the rest. There was some soup, and they said it was beef, but I tasted it, and it tasted a little bit like pork. I'm not sure. Maybe there was no pork, but it was suspicious. So I didn't eat any of that soup today either. Well, I had like 2 spoons of it, and I'm like, this tastes like there could be pork in it. I'm just not going to eat it to be safe. I already had a few bites. But it's not a sin if you're tricked. It's not a sin if you're tricked. Like, oh, this is beef. And then you try it. And then it's like, tastes like it could be pork. And then I stopped eating it. Doesn't mean that you don't need to ask forgiveness. But it means that it's not a sin. It's not on purpose. If somebody doesn't know or they lie to you, that's not a sin. But if you know and you keep eating it, maybe I could have handled it better. I don't know. And then there was 2 pieces of bread. And then I took a piece of bread and I actually dumped it in the soup and I went to eat it and it tasted sour. I'm like, what? And then I had to spit it out into a napkin and I looked and there was mold on my bread. I think this has never happened before. I've been going to the soup kitchen for a couple months. I have never gotten moldy bread. Today was moldy bread and all the meat was pork. Moldy bread and pork. Let's see what else was there. Oh, there was spinach, which I would have liked, and there was little red things in it. I said, is that pork? Is that ham in there? And like, yeah, it's pork. I'm like, oh, no pork. I wanted the spinach, but they put pork in it. I couldn't eat it. And there was something else that had pork in it, so I couldn't get that. And then the soup, they said was beef, but it tasted like it might be pork, so I just had a couple bites, and then I didn't eat. So I hardly had any of it. I just tasted it, and then it tasted kind of like it could have pork, so I didn't eat it. The bread was moldy, and the spinach had pork in it, so I didn't have that much on my plate. It was a small lunch. But the good news is that they had coffee, and the coffee came out right before I got to it. And I had 2 cups of coffee, and I had 2 cups of this Hawaiian punch, which I liked, and I don't remember what else there was, but I still did have enough food to eat. I wasn't stuffed, but I still had enough food to eat, even with all of those problems. So there was some type of dessert. There was fruit. Oh, this is another thing. They were serving fruit, and then they had a scoop of fruit. And then it was like a small one, and it was like all melons and grapes, pretty much. And they put it on my tray. It was like cantaloupe. Yeah, that's what it was. I do not like cantaloupe. And grapes, I don't really like. I'll eat them. I eat them. But grapes are not my favorite fruit. I don't like how sweet they are. And cantaloupe has a kind of taste, I don't really like it. I'll eat it. But then that's what got put on my tray. the person after me, there was pineapple and blackberries. That's what I like. And so I was hoping I would get, since it was a small scoop, I was hoping I'd get another one. They put the fruit I did not like on my tray. I ate it anyways. And then they put the person right after me got the fruit that I did like. But there was a dessert, and I don't even remember what else. So it was a much smaller meal than normal. And there was a lot of pork, and there was moldy bread. And also, there was a woman that came after I had my tray. There was already these problems. There's a woman that came, and she looked like she was probably an enemy, and she probably cursed me. I don't know. It looked like she cursed me. She came and she had a tray, and she's like, "Who wants more juice? Who wants more juice?" And she had the juice and the cups on a tray, and I did want more juice, actually. I did want more juice. And I'm like, "Oh, this is cursed. I'll get it anyways. I'll get it anyways. I don't care." And then she goes around. I'm at like the second table. She goes all the way around, and then finally it comes around. I'm like, "Okay, I'll take one," and I drink it. Um, so I might have known there's something that might have happened later because of that, but I don't know. As soon as I got the cup, I said, "Return it to sender." And I said this audibly, so somebody sitting near me actually heard and looked. I didn't say it loud, but I said it so you could still hear. Like, I didn't whisper. I just said it kind of in a low speaking voice. And someone that was sitting near me heard this. I said, "Return it to sender," and then I drank it. So maybe it didn't do anything. As I went to the soup kitchen, there was a truck right in front of the entrance, and there was a little dog just loose. And then I braked, and I got off my bike and walked the rest of the way. Somebody's little dog was out there. It was a tiny, like one of those little Pomeranians or something. And I'm like, "Oh," and it was barking and yapping, and I said, "Oh, hi, puppy." And then the guy turned, he's like, "Oh, get in the car." He's like, get in the car. Because I like to see the little dog. So they probably got the free dog food. Um, oh, when I got to the soup kitchen, there was a big line, and so I got like at the end of the line. So this is maybe what happened. So the black gang, this is not the one. This is not from my town. I think they have brought in a gang from a surrounding city or some other place in Ohio. They've brought in that I have not seen these people before. So maybe they were already here, but they weren't going to the soup kitchen. I don't know. Maybe they live here, but then they were not going to the soup kitchen, and then they got invited there. Or maybe they came from, because they don't look or act like the other people here. They could have been from another city, or they could just be from some place here, and I've never seen them before. They did not come to the soup kitchen until the other attacks failed. So they were brought in to try to get me. And I know this on many levels. There are things I've discerned, things God has shown me that make it clear they were brought here to take me out. Because they start with little curses, and then it just, builds. And then they try to bring bigger and bigger enemies, and then they all fail. So anyways, when I got in line, there was a black man in front of me. And this has nothing to do with race. There is white people, black people that go to the soup kitchen. These are different people that do not normally come here. And they are more composed. They're more serious. And they seem like gang members. And I already know the gang has been hired to come after me. So there was one in front of me. And then I got in line. And then his friend came and was behind me. And, I'm coughing a little bit, not a whole lot. But, it's obvious that I'm sick. I might, blow my nose or something, every once in a while in the line. And then they're, talking to each other over me, and I'm just kind of ignoring it. This is probably, something that I don't know if they did this to be rude or if they were trying to look at me. Because it could have been that. It could have been, if they were sent there to get me, then they're trying to, so there's one there, I show up behind, and then the friend comes, and then I'm in the middle. This is not, these were not, decision makers. That's not what I think. These are just middlemen or something. So this is what I think based on what I saw. And they were talking to each other, and I'm in the middle. So I think they might have done this because they wanted to spy on me a little, or they wanted, not that they already do, but they wanted to see who I was or something. I think that's what it was. And I just like, they weren't talking at me. They were, so it wasn't incredibly rude, but it was kind of like normally the polite thing would be the person ahead of me would have gone behind me and talked to, but it, I don't know how to describe this to where it was obvious that they were doing this on purpose. I'm not sure the motivation. If I had to guess, it's probably because they were curious. They wanted to see who I was because they have not been able to take me out yet. They've been coming here for like a week and I'm still alive. So they probably were wanting to. That's what I'm thinking. Because I didn't really feel threatened and it didn't come off as extremely rude or anything. But you don't normally do that. And then I had a bottle um, that I refilled with water, and I just finished drinking the rest of it because I didn't drink anything that day. And then the guy behind me was like, "You finishing it to the last drop?" And he said this in a nice voice. And I said, "Oh yeah, yeah, they refill." I said, "I refill this here. They've got good water here." And so I said that he talked to me, the man behind me. He talked to me in a nice voice. It wasn't an aggressive voice. It wasn't a condescending voice. So I think he was the one talking to a person in front of me. He talked to me, and maybe I'm being veiled again, but it was not rude. Um, it was actually kind of not polite, but just nice. And then I answered it, and or I responded. It wasn't a question, really. Um, it was more of like a comment. And then I said, "Yeah, I refill this here. They have good water here." And I said it nice, and they probably assume somebody's got a bottle. You're not putting water in there. I actually put water in it. So they've been spying on me. And what have they seen? They saw me go to two different soup kitchens and load up like 30, 50 pounds of groceries on my bike and bike it. No one else does this. No one else was able to do this. They could, but they don't. They could, but they won't. If I can do it, so can anyone else. But they don't. So they might as well not be able to. They need their vehicles. Some people will walk, but walking's too slow, so they don't do much. The walkers are only hitting like one place a day because it takes too long. So in order to not have a vehicle and to be able to go the same amount of places as you would normally, you need a bicycle. And so there's not a lot of bikers even. There are some, but they just go they only go to like one or two places probably. They normally go slower if they've got a free charity bike and they're on drugs or something. So, anyways, then I had like all these groceries and I had the laundry detergent in my coat. My coat's unzipped a little bit and you can see it poking out. And then I'm leaving. It's like, nobody else does this. So if they're spying on me, they now seen me on this rickety bike and I've got like a grocery store bag, like a plastic bag tied to the handlebar as my bag, and then I've got like all this free stuff I got from the soup kitchen, and it's like all in my bike and shoved in my coat. And they're seeing this, and then I'm in line, and then they see I've got like a Mountain Dew bottle that I'm refilling with water because I'm not buying a bottle of water. So, and then they don't see me have a cell phone, and they've been spying on me, and they don't see me doing anything. Like, they're like, where's this power coming from? Like, who's working with you? Nobody. I didn't go and drive to the police station. I didn't go to a satanic temple. I went to Planet Fitness. I went to Planet Fitness. I went to a church. Oh, I went to the bike trail. Okay. I went to two soup kitchens. So, like, they're trying to figure out how I'm still alive. And they just see that I live like a homeless person. I do have a house, though. Anyways, let's see. So, this is their proof. Like, she's not doing anything. She doesn't have a gang. She's not a member of a gang. It's just a woman by herself getting free stuff at the soup kitchen. So this is important for them to see. God is giving everyone a chance to repent and reform their life. If they are hired to take people out, and even if they've been lied to, then they can see with their own eyes, oh, this isn't true. But then they still have peer pressure. I don't know what's going on, but I know that they are watching me. I have seen some of these gang members watching me. I've never seen these people before, and they were not looking out before. So, like the narcissist spotter, I know the way he looks. Um, he keeps an eye out to see if I'm coming or going, and then he'll look at my bike. Well, these black gang members, they act just like that. The ones that were spotters. They even are like the similar height and build. So, there's a look to the spotters. I know what they look like. They were not normally there, and when I pass one and they see me, I understand the situation. So they are seeing where I am, what I'm doing, and they're reporting that information back. I can tell, like, even where in the hierarchy they are based on the way they look and what they're doing. You probably can too. That God showed this, like, through somebody else that I knew and the way they behave and look. And then here's another one of these gang members, and they're like the same. Let's see. I gotta go to bed. I want to just hurry up. Oh, when I was at the soup kitchen, this is what I had to be there for today. So it was a great blessing. I got 150 pounds of free dog food. It was Sabbath when I went, and I canceled the order that was going to be placed. So they start like preparing it, but then it gets charged a few days later. I had a few days to cancel it, but what if I missed it? So I canceled it during Sabbath. I don't know if that's breaking the Sabbath or not. But I didn't want to miss this, and it's like I can trust God, but at the same time, it's still like going to be consuming my thought a little bit. Occasionally I'll think of it, I might get stressed out a little. I trust God, but still, like, I just canceled it. I don't know if what this is this wrong? Like, if this was an enemy attack to get this message I saw it right after Sabbath started, then I just canceled it. So that's what I did. I'm not going to let them ruin my Sabbath. Maybe I did the right thing. I don't even know. So anyways, I was at the soup kitchen for my lunch, and I went to get a cup of coffee. And there was a tall man standing there. So the way it's set up is there's two tables here along the sidewall. So there's a main table with the regular food. Then there's a corner. And then there's a table with like drinks on it. And there's another table next to it that has extra food on it that doesn't fit behind the regular counter. And they usually have soup here. They've got like a big pot and they make soup. So there's a coffee machine and water here on this table. And right next to it is a table of soup. So there was a tall man, and I saw his back. I didn't see his face or anything. And he was talking to the person that was serving the soup. And he wasn't getting coffee, but he was kind of blocking the coffee. Just like the spotter for the narcissist and other people, they will block me, okay, when they have spirits. Now, he was already there. So he might not have done this on purpose. The spirits have them stand in a way that's inconvenient to me. They might not even know. And God allows them to, and it was probably because I needed to see what God did. So so I stood there for a few seconds to see, because I was thinking he'd probably move. It was probably about 5 seconds or so. And then I I didn't want to be rude right away, because I thought maybe he'll move. Maybe he's just talking to her for a second and he'll go. Well, he continued to talk to this person that was serving the soup. I said, "Excuse me, sir." I said it nice. I'm like, "Excuse me." Actually, let me say first. So there was a tall man, standing, and he was kind of like, I could have got around, but it would have been improper. In front of, like, his back was kind of blocking the coffee machine, and he was talking to the person that was serving the soup. And when I got close, there was a very strong smell of BO. It was like a sweaty, dirty smell, and it smelled like urine, like he had peed his pants and was real sweaty. It was a bad smell. Now, sometimes I smell bad, okay? Sometimes, actually, I never want to smell bad, but I get spells cast on me, and then my plumbing will go out, and I won't have clean clothes. So, the devil has done that to me. um, but I don't want to be that. Well, um, this man 2 days ago was clean and did not smell bad. So that's what I'm going to say here. So I got kind of near. I was like 2, 3 feet away, and I could smell, and it was a bad smell. I didn't say anything. It was a bad smell. It was a body odor smell, and it smelled like urine, kinda. And yeah, if you pee your pants a little, or if you just don't have a bath in a really long time, then you get that same smell. And so I'm like, "Excuse me, sir." And then he kind of like moves over a little bit, and I go to get my coffee. And then he like leans down a little to talk to me. Oh, excuse me. Just to say something real quick. And I noticed this was the man who had threatened me. Like, what? It was yesterday or the day before. Yesterday or the day before, maybe 2 days ago. I don't remember. I don't know if this is 1 day ago or 2 days ago, because so much happens. The man who bent down is like, "We gotta talk." And I think he said, "No coffee. We gotta talk." And I said, and he asked for my number, and I said, "There's a lot of guys hitting on me." He says, you really think I'm hitting on you?" And not really, but and I said, "You will." When they hit on you, kind of, because when they hit on you, they don't actually like you. They do it to control you. So the same thing as the other people fake pretending to hit on me. Oh, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, it was the same. It was the same motivation. But anyways, then this same man was the man that reeked. He smelled horrible. And not just did he smell horrible, he was messed up. He had been on drugs or alcohol or something. He was messed up. So the time before, he was very sound mind. He seemed intelligent and had it together. But just evil, okay? Now, 1 or 2 days later, after he threatened me, he smelled like he used the bathroom in his pants. He had really bad BO. And he was talking to the person serving soup, and then I got my coffee. I didn't know it was him. I'm like, "Oh, there's a bad smell. I'm not going to say anything, you know." And then I got my coffee. And then he leans down. This is the man who had just threatened me. He's like, "Oh, you were supposed to talk to me." He said, "Oh, you were supposed to talk to me." And instead of being real dark and evil, this time it was like, he was like drunk or on drugs or something. So it was kind of silly. It was kind of silly. Like before, when it was like threatening, God took revenge. This same man, 1 or 2 days later, who knows what he tried to do? Who knows what his intentions were? God has rendered judgment. It was instant karma. He was brought in to try to control me or stop me. Possibly sent people. He could have been one of the leaders in this gang, or the higher ups. The way he acted, he was bigger, he was taller, he was more intelligent. He was a day or two ago. It was yesterday or the day before. And today, it was a horrible smell, and he was like on drugs or alcohol, and it wasn't threatening anymore. He's like, "You were supposed to talk to me." He's like, "You were supposed to talk to me." I don't know how to say it. Because this time, it was like, he couldn't be threatening. Because it was like a little serious mixed with kind of silly. Because he was like drunk or on drugs or something. He had been messed up. And he was like, "You were supposed to talk to me." I said, "Oh, about religion." "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I can't hear very well." And I just talked to him like that. "Yeah, I can't hear very well. You gotta speak up." I said, "Yeah, about religion." And he said, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Yeah, about the Bible." And then I left and went and ate. He was so out of it. He kept talking to the soup person, never came over. So he went from threatening me to now he is totally wasted. And he's not able to be threatening anymore. He's like, you were supposed to talk to, he leaned down, you were supposed to talk to me. And then he couldn't, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't hear very well if you don't speak up. And then, and it was nice. It was nice. He was no longer a threat. He was no longer a threat. He was taken out of the game. And, actually, I said some mean things. And they are probably justified and exactly, it was the truth at the time. And it still is the truth. What I said yesterday was a little rough around the edges. It was yesterday and the day before. What I said was the truth. But then I feel bad. Because once people get their karma, it's like maybe I shouldn't have said anything. But I'm sharing my testimony. And that was the truth at the time. And so when I see this, even though this man deserved it, he deserved everything he got, I still feel bad. I still feel bad for them. They try to kill me. They try to control me. Who knows what his intention was. And then when I see him in the state, I feel bad. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said those things about him in the video. But the things I said were true. And when I said sit on this and, then I feel bad. Because now I feel bad. Because now he's wasted. He's messed up. And so, but when I said that, that's how I felt at the time. So I'm not going to edit that out. But, that is how I felt. And so that is my truth. My truth is true. Like, it's like everyone's truth is true. Yeah. This was my reaction to the way I was treated. They brought in a bigger player because the others had failed. And it was an attempt to intimidate me. And I don't know what the intentions were. I don't. But I wasn't biting. I was polite to him. And I turned and, I think he called me at the end and I wasn't really sure, so I didn't look back. Then he said it again. And and then I slowly turned and I look at him. And I give him a smile. I give him a nice smile. And then next time I see him, he is wasted. He is wasted. And then I feel bad. They totally deserve it, but I feel bad. And it's like, oh no, I shouldn't have said that in the video. But what came out of my mouth was how I felt. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Man, I don't know what I'm doing here. So when I was leaving the soup kitchen, then I just go a couple blocks and then there's roundabout. And I thought it was odd when I got near there, I saw there was just a police officer standing at the roundabout. Just standing right there. And then a block behind the police officer, there were some cops with their lights flashing. They had somebody there. They had caught somebody. And there was a police officer standing at the roundabout. There was probably at the other intersections too, blocking people so they wouldn't turn down that way. So this is suspiciously close to the soup kitchen where I was. Now I'm not saying, maybe this was completely unrelated. But I don't remember seeing this before. And no, I didn't go that way that often. But when I did go that way, I didn't see this. So it was they were probably on their way or trying to get me. I don't know. Maybe they weren't. But I think that it's suspicious because it wasn't a normal traffic stop. A normal traffic stop, you don't have a police officer standing a couple blocks down and making sure nobody enters. And they were there for a while. Because I think I went someplace and I came back and they were still there. A while later. So there is a roundabout and then a few blocks, or a block past them, I saw there was cops and they had stopped a vehicle there. And there was another officer standing and he was facing, so the way that I bike, he was facing that way. So then I looked and why is there a police officer just standing there? I have never seen that before. He was standing in the roundabout, making sure nobody went through. And I went on the sidewalk, on the other side. And then I saw the police had somebody, and their lights were flashing. They had somebody in a vehicle, and they were there for a while. And the lights were going. So something was going on. It might have been more people sent to get me. In another failure on their part, which is a victory for God. Now, maybe it had nothing to do with me, but everything has something to do with me. Like, the entire kingdom of darkness has been trying to get me. Um, so why would this be any different? When I see this, and the police officer, this is the way that I go. Like, when I go home, this is where I turn. And then the police officer was there in the roundabout. So this is the way that I go when I leave the soup kitchen. Okay, so he is standing in the roundabout. I bike right past that roundabout on the sidewalk. And then on the other side, the police got someone. Maybe they were going to continue driving, to the soup kitchen or wait there for me. I don't know. Maybe the police were holding them there to make sure that if anyone else was involved, they wouldn't get away or be suspicious. I don't know. Because they were kind of just sitting there a while. Yet why was there a police officer there? I don't know. One thing I thought was strange is that there was just a wrench. So when I had the dog food on the bike and I was biking back, then I biked past so it was on the way to my house, but there's a road you go down to get to the house that Bike Man, the serial killer, was staying in. So I remembered the name of this road. And then there was just a wrench sitting in the road, and it was near, so I was going down the road, and then there's roads that come off of it, okay? One of these went right past the house Bike Man, the serial killer, was staying at. And then it was right about there that there was just a wrench laying in the road. And I saw that wrench. And he knew I didn't have a number 15. And that's what I needed to put the wheel on my bike. So I'm thinking, I just thought when I saw this wrench, that they probably put that wrench there. And I wasn't going to stop. You know what? I might have stopped if I didn't have the dog food. Yeah, if I didn't, because I didn't want the dog food to fall off. It was on there in a good way. And even with the kickstand, it was so heavy, the bike might have fallen over. So I was not going to stop biking with the dog food, this big dog food bag on the bike. I wasn't going to stop to pick up a wrench. But I remember I biked right past that wrench, and it looked like it was probably the size I needed. And Bike Man knew what size wrench I needed. I told him a couple times, he knew. Because he saw my wrenches, and I told him before then. I said, it's like this was all planned, because I have every size of these wrenches except for, I have 2 sets, and I have every size except for 15. And that's the size you need to get this tire off. And so, and then he also said, he said he found just a wrench laying in the road, and it was probably the right size. Yeah, they plan this stuff. They got a cheap wrench set. It's $3 at the discount store. Or you can just buy one separately. And then they toss it in the road a few blocks up because they already know. I have told them the day before, or they overheard. So then they can just go get one and toss it in the road, and then he has what he needs. And if he fixes my bike, then he has permission to murder. It's like if he goes to fix the car, he has permission to murder. If he makes the meal and you eat it, he has permission to murder. That's what I'm trying to say here. Anyways, I saw that bike sitting there in the road, and I thought, that is suspicious. Because actually, when I said I couldn't fix it because I had it's like, this is all planned, because there was every size wrench except for the one size that I needed. And then we kept biking like another couple of blocks. And look, here's a wrench in the road. It looks like the right size. And then here, I hadn't seen Bike Man in a couple days. And then I'm biking. I actually went the wrong way, and I went all the way back towards the gym. I was by the gym, which is almost 2 miles away. Oh my gosh, I biked like 3 miles. Oh, shoot. No wonder I was tired. And then I had to go to the soup kitchen, like 5 miles. And then, yeah, it's like 10 miles every day, if not more. um, yeah, it was more than that, I think. And then I was biking back from the gym. Otherwise, I wouldn't have probably noticed this. There, so this road, so from the gym, there's a road that you take, and then off of that is a road that goes towards the house Bike Man was staying in. And it was right about that area. There's just a wrench laying on the road, and it looked like it was probably the right size. Now, had I stopped and picked that up, it might have activated some curse or allowed someone else to come after me. I did not stop. I did not pick up. I looked at the wrench. I thought about it. I wasn't going to stop, and I didn't get it. Nothing is free. This probably had something to do with Bike Man. Maybe he left it there a few days ago, and if I picked it up, then it's like him giving me something and I get cursed. I don't know. I did not pick it up. I left it. Let's see. When I went to the soup kitchen for dinner, like, there was just cereal, like Fruit Loops just spilled all over the ground. That was unusual. I wonder what that means. Let's see. Excuse me. Sorry guys, hold on. Oh. I gotta go to bed soon. Yeah, I just have not seen the serial killer in a couple days now, so I wonder if he got caught. Maybe he'll be there next week. I think he got caught, but, I could be wrong. Because, I didn't even know he was sending someone else to get me. I don't know if he normally does this, maybe not, but with me, he hired a large, stronger man to get me. He looked like an angry, like, redneck guy in an old truck. He was like a Hulk type guy. And so this is who he had hired, and I know. Because I biked right past him, and the officer looked at me like... And so I knew the way the officer looked at me, because God allows us to see in the spirit, those eyes. And the way he continued to look at me. He pulled the guy over. The guy was like, I was just doing that, like that. And then the officer saw me coming and was like this. Like, that's the woman you were going to try to kill. I knew what that looked. They don't do that. They ignore you when you bike past them. That's what they do. Not this time. He looked at me like this, like, and he continued to look at me, like, in disbelief. So I knew. And then I believe the same guy, I saw him head into my house, like, a couple days later. And then I just left. And then I saw his head turn and look at me as I was going up the hill leaving my house. And he was going towards my house. And then he looked and saw me. So I think this is the same guy. And I saw him. And it was too late. He was going to try to get me at my house. But I left. This is what God did. Offer, come get the free lunch. And then I forgot about it. So I didn't tell anyone else. I show up at the free lunch. And then because of that, that's why you got to be obedient. My obedience is following the free food and where I'm allowed to wash my clothes. So God makes sure that I'm broke and that I don't have like good food here. And I actually have some stuff from the soup kitchen, but like it's not cooked. But not the soup kitchen, the food pantry. I didn't have that until a couple days ago. So I had 2 food pantries in the last few days. Before that, I didn't have stuff really here. So, anyways, I probably got something I could make. Excuse me. They give us cereal, but no milk, too. That's weird. They give us eggs, which is nice. They're the small eggs. It's weird. It's like a regular carton, but the eggs are like half size or 2/3 size or something. They're cute, but... I say I can't use my dishes, so I've just got one pan that I reuse and put it in the fridge when I'm done. So, and I just eat out of it. So, I'm not going to be making anything fancy. Let's see what is going on here. I forget what I'm talking about. what am I talking about? Okay, So after lunch, I go home. I put the dog food away. I play with my dogs a little bit. I relax a little bit. Look at some messages, not all of them. I just get warm because I was cold. I got another jacket or something on. I think I'm not sure. I don't remember. Oh, I got warmer gloves or something. And I changed to like warmer shoes. So I got warmer shoes and warmer gloves, I think. And then I left like a half hour later, or maybe an hour later. I had plenty of time. And then I leave my house and I go a couple blocks and then there's a major road. And then at that road I see two sheriffs. Okay, and then they are turning onto my road. I think they're both turning onto my road as I am leaving. So who knows if they were stopping something else. I don't know. They're not contacting me. They haven't told me anything. So I don't know what's going on. Since I'm not talking to them, they haven't, like, if they are around me, it's probably because they are tracking other criminals, and the criminals are following me. Does this make sense? So if gang members are just trying to get me all of a sudden, and the police are following them, then I happen to see them because they're trying to get me. Because they're not, I don't see them come to my house or anything. I don't know what's going on here. So, I just have a notepad. I don't have a cell phone, nothing like that. So, I don't know what is going on. But, maybe it's a coincidence. But as I said before, there are no coincidences. Right as I left my house, it's like 1 minute later, I go to a couple blocks down, and then there's a major street light for a large road. Two sheriffs turn off of that onto my road because it was red. They were turning onto my road, and this was unusual. Like, just for them to pass by might be a little unusual, but they were turning onto my road, so maybe that was suspicious. Let's see. I don't know what's going on here. So yeah, I went to the gym. Probably something happened there. I don't even remember. I don't remember. I showed up. I was tired. I'm like, I used the massage chairs, and when I got to dinner, I was a couple minutes late, but I was pretty much on time. They had a shopping cart with just frozen chicken in it. They were giving away. They had so many food donations. Their freezer was full. So they had to give away drumsticks. They had to give away chicken. And this is good. I would prefer they give them away because if you get them, they're real greasy and you can't wash your hands. So I would rather they give the chicken away. Even though it tastes good. Like, you can't wash your hands and they're greasy. And so, you can't leave your stuff to wash your hands. So I can't wash my hands. So anyways, maybe this soup kitchen had actually been feeding me, and they just gave me some things I needed, and so maybe God bless them with so many food donations that their freezer was full and they had to give some of it away. Actually, as I walked in, there was a tall man there I'd never really talked to before. I don't know if he's evil or not. He probably is, but maybe not. And then I walked past this cart, and I just kind of took a look, and he had like the last one or something. And he said, I think he said, you can have it if you want. He was going to give it to me. I said, oh no, I just wanted to see what it was. So I can't really cook stuff right now. But I think I said thank you. I just was curious. So I don't know what's going on with this man. Maybe he was trying to curse me by giving it to me, but he didn't know. Nobody knew this was going to be there. So maybe this man, if he was going to curse me, it would have to be pre-planned. So they always try to curse me, but they don't do it the same day. They plan it like the day before, and so it's ready. So nobody knew they were going to have free frozen chicken legs. So there couldn't be a curse already on it. So he had like the last one, and I came in. He's like, you could have it if you want. He's like, so he was giving it to me. Maybe he didn't want karma, but see, there's no karma. If you have it in your hand, you don't have to give it to me. It's just don't mess with me when I'm not doing anything. It's not me that does this. God does it. So I'm thinking maybe because normally people give me stuff to curse it, but this nobody knew. They just wheeled it out, so it couldn't have had a curse on it. So maybe they know. They brought in this gang member to try to get me. He tried to get me, and the next day, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 days later, the next day he is wasted. He looks like he's been homeless for a month and is slurring and has lost his power. So this man is like, you can have he wasn't afraid, but he said you can have it if you. Maybe he did because he didn't want he didn't want karma, but he didn't do anything wrong yet. I don't think. Maybe he did something I don't know about, but I didn't see him do anything. So maybe he's not gonna. Maybe he was gonna think about messing with me, and then he saw other people mess with me and what happened to them. And really, I know other people had to get karma, but I didn't see it, and I don't know what happened. Like, there was one older guy, and he's like, I'm about to be 82. I'm about to be old. And I said, and I just made a small talk back because he mentioned this. He was trying to tell me that, I believe. Because he was involved with some people that were cursing me, and I think he gave, some information I told him to other people that used it to try to get me. This was a long time ago. He didn't know then. And he's like, oh, I'm about to be 82, I'm old. and and I think that was have mercy on me, I'm old. Okay, and then, seriously, and then, I said, well, what were you gonna do? What were you going to do for your birthday? And he said, oh, why are you asking? Why are you asking? I think he was afraid. He didn't want to answer it the wrong way, or he didn't want me to use it to curse him or something. I said, oh, I don't really celebrate. Well, you mentioned it was going to be your birthday, so. Well, you mentioned it was going to be your birthday. I was just trying to make small talk. He was afraid. He didn't want to get any curse or spell on him or something. I don't do witchcraft. I don't. So he knows. He saw people tried to get me, and God smacked him down. Okay, so he knows. That means other people are aware. And they were sending in more dangerous people, and I don't know what is happening to them, but I saw what happened to this man, and he wasn't just like a middleman. So, maybe that had to the chicken being in there, and then the guy had the chicken. No one's gonna be like, oh, you can have it. He didn't say it that way. He was like, you can have it if you want. Probably because he doesn't want, they think I use voodoo or witchcraft like they do. No, I don't. So I'm not going to curse you. You have it. It's your package of chicken legs. It's not mine. You don't have to give it to me. Now, if you took it from me and stole it from me, then you would get karma. But, yeah, and maybe this guy isn't bad, but I just assumed that they all are at this point because everyone has started off that way. Now, maybe there's a few that aren't. So I don't know because this guy, he started showing up about the time of the gang members. So I don't know him. They probably brought him in to try to get me. I'm just assuming because he did come at the same time as the gang, and he came in after they were brought in after the serial killer failed. And so I don't know. I'm just assuming that he was brought in to try to get me because everyone else is. But really, he hasn't done anything to me yet. And maybe he decided not to. As I walked past, and he's like, you can have my drumsticks. He's like, this is the last drumstick. You can have it. Maybe he wasn't even going to try. So I don't know what is going on here. Okay, so probably something else happened that I don't remember. Oh, the people from the recovery meetings who did curse me and stuff, I thought were witches, okay? But then they also talked to me like they're friends, too, so I don't know. I don't know if they're only enemies or if they actually like me, too. That's all I'm saying. I don't even know. But I'm not burning any bridges. Because they might be enemies, but also like friends. Or they're just only enemies. Or they're enemies that start to like me and become friends. I don't know. I have no idea. It's like, why am I even here? I don't know. But, yeah, the Bible verse for the regular man, the manager was not there. So the second in command, the woman, and she had been there like 10 years ago or so, she gave the verse James 4:8, come close to God and God will come close to you. I didn't write this down verbatim, but it was a good message. Let's see. Yeah, it was a good message. I don't remember. Some other stuff probably happened, but I was talking to these people, and, you know, they tried to give me a dessert again, and I just assume everything's cursed. I'm like, oh no, they'll call seconds anyways, like they always do. And then there was another man there who was at the recovery meetings, and I think he's pretty nice. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. I thought this guy is a nice guy. But, that's what I think at first, and then they get me, so. But anyways, yeah, we talked a bit, and it was kind of interesting. I don't know if they're only witches or if they actually like me. I don't know. They probably are just enemies, but they could be friends and enemies. I don't know. And maybe they haven't just come around yet. I really don't understand what the point of this is. I'm assuming they're sent in to get information on me. And my life is not a secret. I just tell them stuff, about my situation. And, they mentioned, so the one woman there was talking about how her family, like, her mom was real evil. And then I mentioned something, about, like, yeah, I've got Ahab and Jezebel's parents. And, a lot of people that have been humans, been alive before, they can have Ahab or Jezebel. Maybe most people don't, but I told him this. And I told him, oh yeah, my daughters, they said they knew people, they had like cousins that sold out. And I said, yeah, and my daughters, my kids, they sold out. I just mentioned it. And then they're like, and so they were probably fishing for information to give that to the kingdom of darkness to use against me. But this is not a secret. Everybody already knows. Like, and then they mentioned later, you shouldn't tell, don't tell people you live alone. I said, everybody already knows. I mean, no, I tell them everybody already knows. They can know they should know that I live alone. If I'm not there, there's no other person there, but my dogs are there. And my dogs do not like strangers coming into the house. But actually, if you come in here, you'll see a ruined house that has, like, stuff broken and it's dirty. You'll see that. So there's really no reason, like, if I'm not here, that you would want to come here. I'm just going to say, there's not a good reason to come here. The only reason you would want to come here would be to get me, but you're not allowed to. God protects this property. And I also pray that God protect my property, and also put up a big sign that says, do not enter my property. But you are welcome to go to the front yard. You can go to the front yard and visit the landmark symbol all you want, that's fine. But you can't come into my house. Anyways, so I think they were fishing for information. But in their process of fishing for information, they might actually decide that they kind of like me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just kind of like brainstorming as I'm making this video. Because God has me with them for some reason. I don't know. I thought, like, so I get attacked more? So I learn things? So I help them? I don't know. I think they're fishing for information. I'll tell them stuff. And then someone mentioned you shouldn't or don't tell people you're alone, or kind of was the inverted. So, like tell people you live with others, or no, you shouldn't tell people you live alone, or don't tell people you live with. I do. They all know. It doesn't matter. They can know that I am alone. That they should, because then they'll know. I don't have an army. I don't have a coven. There's nobody protecting me. It's me and it's God. And so they need to know it is only me here. And in my dogs, actually, I have to protect them too. So it's not, but like, they try to get me when I go out mainly. And the reason they try to get me when I go out is because I got a lot of neighbors all around. Okay. And these people are probably like enemies, but maybe not. But the thing is, if I was being murdered, then they probably would help. As what? Even though they're okay, maybe they're not enemies, maybe they're just not allies. But if I was in help and screaming, they would hear. And I believe they would do something. Now, maybe not. But I'm pretty sure there's a house right here, right across the street. This is very safe. So, in order to get away with a crime, it has to be away from my house. And has to be in a more secluded area. So I was even thinking when I got on that bike trail, this will be perfect. I know I got a serial killer and like gang members trying to hunt me, and they're going to be in vehicles, so they're not going to be on the bike trail. That they are stopped at the entrances to the bike path, and there's a few of them. So they just got a vehicle at each like entrance and exit there. So like when I get off the trail, they're waiting. And so this was a good way to trap them, where they think they're going to get me. Okay, so then I also had a meeting with the Mormon missionaries. They mentioned they wanted to talk to me again. So I biked down there. Of course, the train. This is the thing. My town is awesome, but there's like a train, and there's only one overpass, which is not safe on a bike. And maybe this is how I got cursed. Because there's an overpass, and people go fast on there, and there's not a sidewalk on it. And it's not really safe on a bike, and it was dark. So also, while I'm going up this, I had a red light on the bike, on the back of my bike, and that died. While I'm on this bridge on the dangerous road with no sidewalk or place to stop. So I'm thinking this is probably from that drink. Like, anyone want, here's an extra juice. Anyone want an extra juice? So, yeah, I was probably cursed. Yeah, I want one. And then I said, return to sender. I drank it. Well, the thing is, I probably was cursed, but because I did make the choice, and I took it. I did make the choice. I took it. I drank it. I figured it was cursed. I know in this situation, the return to sender doesn't work the same. I was actually pretty sure that was cursed, and that this was an evil woman, honestly. I knew, but I wanted the juice. And I could have gotten up and got my own, too, but I didn't. And honestly, if I did, then I would have had to get my tray, and I think someone was sitting next to me, so it would have been inconvenient. I just got the juice. And, so probably the rear light on my bike died, and this was very dangerous, but God protects me. And then when I got off this ramp and I stopped on the sidewalk, I had an extra red light that was charged, and I put that on the bike. But still, this could have been deadly. Now, I still had a front light on. There was other things I could have done, but it's like while I'm, like when I was biking, it was on. And then when I get on this overpass, which is faster, and you're not supposed to go on it with a bike, then it dies while I'm on this. And, but that's the only way to get around the train. So they need to put, like, they said this is the bike route. But then sometimes this train, like, it stops that road for like an hour. Because they're allowed to stay there as long as they want, because there's an overpass. The overpass is not for walking, and it's not for riding bikes. You can ride a bike on it, but, like, it's not really safe. People want to go fast. And, at night, with the light off, it was dangerous. So, anyways, I went to the church. I met, it was one of the same men I talked to. He was, like, 19. He was a young man. He's really, like, he's a believer. So, and why I think, like, he's about the age of my kids. Like, one of them is married to a pedophile. The other one's not. Why am I thinking, this is a nice guy. He's the age of, well, but my daughter's, she could be a prodigal child, and she could repent. Why am I thinking, this guy here, he's a good boy. I'm so sorry. I don't mean like that. I don't mean like that. Like, I'm small, and he's, like, really big. But he is, like, so nice. You can tell he's a believer. And he's, like, the age of my daughter. My daughter is not allowed to speak to me. But then why didn't I thought, like, hey, you're the age of my daughter. Anyways. But it was a good, and then there was another young man there, too. And I hadn't seen him before. And he didn't talk much, but he did, like, talk a little bit. And so I got some more questions, and I actually showed up. I was not prepared. I didn't get to read any more of the Book of Mormon. Now, I did, before I went, I prayed to know whether this was from God or not. And, because I looked at it and I said, this probably is. Like, this is like the same stuff. And I looked at it, I said, there's no reason why this isn't, I'm not surprised if it is or not. I wouldn't be surprised. When I looked at it and I read some of it, I skimmed through like 50 pages of it, and I'm like, this is probably from God. That was just the way I felt when I read it. Like, but I didn't have like a confirmation. And so during this meeting, we talked about a lot of stuff, and their beliefs. And then I did just kind of clarify a little thing about like Jesus is not an atonement for, but they already say you have to obey the law, so it's not really. So it's kind of weird. They kind of have this little double speak, but then they do not believe in the blood sacrifice, where they say Jesus is atonement. And I said, well, in the Old Testament, like, well, people were saved before, like in the Old Testament, and God is, and they said, because Jesus is merciful. And I said, well, God is merciful, and people were saved and went to heaven before in the Old Testament. So that kind of, maybe they thought a little bit of this. But, if they don't know all the truth, it doesn't matter too much, because they tell their members that you have to obey the law. And that is the truth. And they have a lot of information that is true. So if some things aren't quite accurate, like, the important stuff is. So when, like, don't sin, repent, that is important. And they're also, like, just really nice people. No, not everybody, but the young men there, the missionaries, are very nice. But I told them some things, and then they were thinking of possibly volunteering at the soup kitchen. I gave them some advice, and they liked my new Temu coat. Apparently, like, I didn't know if I liked it at first, but then headlights, when like car headlights shine on it, then it lights up like a reflector. Just the type of fabric, like when light hits it, it like, yeah, it's almost like glow in the dark or something. I don't know how to say this, but they're like, oh, I like that coat. And I'm like, yeah, I got it on Temu. But anyways, they're nice to talk to. Got back home and I played the guitar a bit and making this video. It is late. I've got to go to bed and try to. Yeah, I've got to go to a coffee house tomorrow. I was invited to that. I gotta get up at 10. So, not enough sleep again. That's okay. I will do whatever I'm called to do. And, like, it's just weird, random. I don't have any friends or family. People just, like, they come to me, they stand there, and then, like, I get invited to something, and then they leave. It's like, it's not quite, like, we talk for a couple minutes. But during that couple minutes, I get invited someplace in a way that, like, here's a mission. It's obvious. So then I gotta go. Like, they tried to invite me to the AA meetings a couple weeks ago, but I actually did have a phone call. I couldn't make it. That was also God then, too. Because I guess I wasn't ready for this yet. Or something. I don't know. Or there's something else going on. So then a couple weeks later, when they invite me again, I'm like, yeah, now I'll go. Maybe I just needed to rest then. Maybe something else was going on. Maybe it wouldn't have been, maybe none of that. Maybe just, it wouldn't be as good of an experience, like someone would be there or someone would not be there. So that's probably why it was delayed. Yeah, because I didn't know there was going to be a meeting. I scheduled a meeting with Mercari, which they have screwed me over again. They said that I would be able to verify my account some other way without a cell phone app, and then they get back to me and say I need a cell phone app. So I'm going to have to, I don't know what to do. They're getting sued. They are going to get sued. I already told them, I'm going to sue you guys, or I'm going to go to a lawyer. If I'm allowed to sue, we're allowed to sue. I said it, it's going to happen. This is like Maha now, they're suing like food manufacturers for making unhealthy food. Yeah, every business that forces us to have a cell phone app, you're getting sued too. And I saw there was this new like dog coffee or bar where it's got like an indoor dog park, but you have to have your dogs vaccinated. Every place that every place that requires you to have your dogs vaccinated to take them, I'm going to contact them and say that you shouldn't do this, because when it comes out those vaccines cause cancer, you are going to get sued. Okay, so actually there was a new place, like I got the Columbus, Ohio news. There's a thing in there with this new, like I had an idea of a puppy tea house, like when I was like 17 or 18, because it reminded me of Japan. Like a place where you could go have tea or food and you could bring your dogs in. And like, this is a great idea and no one's thought of it. Well, now, and I kept saying this. It's like, why doesn't, I got all these great ideas and no one does it. Like you can have drinks and bring your dogs. Nobody, like, this is a great idea. Somebody do it, okay? um, I said, I got all these great ideas. And then now they pretty much done it. It's like a bar. And they probably have other drinks too. And you bring your dogs. And it's indoor. But you need to have your dogs vaccinated. So when I saw this, I clicked it and I looked at the article. I said, that's like my idea. It's not exactly, it's close. That's like my idea. If they have stuff that is not beer that you can buy to drink, that is my idea. Because I never didn't say there couldn't be alcohol. And then they said you had that, said, but it's safe because you need to have your dog vaccinated. I messaged them on Facebook and said, you might want to not require vaccines, because when it comes out that they cause cancer and, cause health problems, then all of these businesses requiring vaccines will be sued. And then, and they're like, oh, thank you for your comment, and like, or thank you for your opinion. And I replied, you're welcome, and something like, it's the truth. It's the truth. And then, I don't know if they replied again. But this is another mission. In my town, they're like, I don't have any money now, but there's places that you can send your dogs where they will watch your dogs. Like if you have to go on vacation, they all require that you have vaccines. So, I do not have vaccines. God, I was about to be a good citizen and vaccinate my dogs before I lost everything. I was at the point to where, like, I could just get them vaccinated. Then, because if you don't have the vaccines, like, if something happens, then you gotta put your dog in quarantine if it doesn't have the rabies. Like, there's some weird laws like that. And so just to protect them, to make it harder to take them away from me, then I was just going to go ahead and get it done. But God blocked it and took away my vehicle and my money. I was about to go in and just get them, not all the shots, just the rabies, which is required. And God blocked it. And I didn't want to get them this, but I was seriously considering it. Because they already had their first rounds of shots when they were puppies. So, then I would be able to take them to like a boarding place or something. And I didn't really want to, but I was actually considering it, because when I took my dog to the vet, when he got attacked, he swelled up, and I needed some medication from them. And then they kept trying to get the or they were asking about the vaccines and when they got this and this. And I said, I don't have like that exact information. I had to basically leave. I had to flee. I had to leave and move here. I don't have any records. And so, anyways, I don't like any of this. They want to get all the records. Like, I don't have them, okay? I said, and I told them I was in a bad situation. I had to flee. I don't have the records. I don't have them. And they're like, well, give us the vet you were at before. They'll have it. I said, I don't have anything. They're my dogs. They're registered to me. And so I was, they wanted me to get the vaccine. And they want you to come back and, like, there's certain things, too. They'll try to accuse you of not taking good care of your dogs if they're not vaccinated. I did not want to get this, honestly, but I was considering it. Because I don't want to get my dogs taken away from me, and it's just any reason, like, any excuse to do it. But anyways, I'm thinking of calling every place in my town that requires vaccines, which is every place that boards dogs, or you can bring your dogs, and I'm going to let them know. You remove this requirement or you're getting sued. I'm going to sue all you. I'm going to try to sue all you guys. And it probably, it could work. It might not. But someone else is going to do it. Just like, I think Kellogg's Post and all that stuff's getting sued now. I don't know which ones, but like these major food companies are getting sued. You guys are next. Like, maybe not, like, you're in the line. I don't know which item is coming next, but you are waiting in line to be sued. When you force people to give their dogs medical treatments that can kill them or cause health problems, give them cancer, then you should expect to be sued. This is just going to go on. Okay, good night. It's Sabbath. Good night.